time to set the field for the Food City 500 from the High Bank half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee, known for many years as Thunder Valley. Glad you're with us here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. 45 drivers are here for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Competitors, we will set the field for the Food City 500. Beautiful spring day here in Eastern Tennessee, right outside the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway. Glad you're with us here on Speed. Well, they practiced earlier today and want to get you caught up on who was the fastest. Couple of surprises inside the top 5. Let's find out who might contend for that pole position. A look at practice. 5th quickest. That's Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 car. 4th quickest. Elliott Sadler got his very first Sprint Cup Series win here. Did so for the Wood Brothers, driving for Gillette Motorsports. 4th fastest in his Dodge. 3rd quickest. Jimmy Johnson, hard to believe, but Jimmy Johnson has never won a Sprint Cup Series race here on the half mile. Track record held by Ryan Newman. Here he is in the 39 car. His track record, believe it or not, under 15 seconds, 14.90. Newman, 2nd quickest. A little bit of a surprise atop the leaderboard in that first practice. David Rudiman driving for Michael Waltrip Racing in a Toyota, hoping he will be the lucky dog to sit atop the pole for the Food City 500. Let's take a look at the top 20. See Mark Martin, he's had nothing but bad luck. He's had a fast race car this season. To see if he can move up just a few spots in qualifying just upcoming. Jeff Gordon, a 5-time winner here at Bristol, also in the top 10. Last year, Jeff Burton won this race. In fact, Richard Childress Racing drivers 1, 2, and 3. And you'll notice all those drivers under 125 miles per hour, separated by just tenths, hundredths of a second here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Let's go down into the garage now and check in with Randy Pemberton. Randy?
Well, thank you, Steve. We have the aforementioned track record holder here, under 15 seconds. That won't happen today, but nonetheless, 2nd quick in practice, Ryan. That's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, it was the U.S. Army Chevrolet. The guys, Tony and the guys did a good job unloading off the truck fast, and just kept working on it to the point that we were P1, and then Rudiman got us at the end. But good laps and good practice session for us. Best one we've had all year.
Good luck in qualifying, but let's turn the page here, so to speak. You've got an announcement, really, and a new book coming out. You had Pit Road Pets a couple of years ago, easy for me to say, and now you have number 2 coming out. And tell us a little bit more about that. You have the fans involved.
Yeah, it's the 2nd lap. My wife's really kind of in charge of that, along with some of our other people that work for us. But it's Pit Road Pets, the 2nd lap, and it's all about NASCAR stars, drivers, crew chiefs, car owners, TV personalities, and they're including some fans this year too. So it'll be really interesting doing the photo shoots and whatnot throughout this year, and I think it's going to be set to debut sometime 1st of 2010.
And even if you come here to Bristol and you have your pets, you can go out to the Dale Earnhardt lot, and you have a photographer out there, I think from 9 to 2, both on Saturday and Sunday. Get your picture with your pet and put it in Pit Road Pets, perhaps, with Ryan Newman. Who's up next?
Randy, say that 10 times fast. That's pretty difficult, as you actually saw right there. But Dale Earnhardt Jr., we're going to talk a little qualifying here. 15th quick in the practice session this morning. How is she today?
It's pretty good. We started off in race trim. We were real happy, and one of the quicker cars and running some really good laps. And I went into qualifying trim. The car was a little bit faster, and I think we ran. We tried to free it up, and we couldn't get it to go any quicker, so we're going to put the bike back in it and seal it up. I think this should get us a real good qualifying spot and inside the top 10.
You seem like you're in a great mood here this week, and I know you want to watch that late model race here tomorrow and so forth, but how cool is this place?
It's a great racetrack, and what boggles the mind is that nobody's tried to duplicate it, you know, and it's a lot of fun. All the fans have a great time. The atmosphere inside and outside the track is great. It's just perfect for racing, and And I can't wait till they try to do it again, and maybe we'll see one like it in the future.
All right, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he goes out third today in qualifying, Steve.
All right, thank you, Bob. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the August race here in 2004. As we take a look at the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series point standings after 4 races, Jeff Gordon mentioned here a 5-time winner of the Bristol Motor Speedway atop the point standings. Clint Boyer having a lot of success in the 33 car at Richard Childress Racing. Kurt Busch coming off a win at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's also a big winner here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Well, stay with us. Sprint Cup Series qualifying is next here at Bristol, and it's on speed.
Temperature has hardly climbed a degree since we went on the air at noontime. The infield packed with haulers, equipment, and crews. Getting ready for 45 drivers to take to the track in hopes of earning one of the 43 spots in the field for Sunday's Food City 500. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip with you. And when we joined you at noon, we were just excited to be here, to be in Thunder Valley, and to see these cars flying around this half mile. Well, after an hour and a half of practice, now we're wondering who is going to be good enough to win the pole for this race and who is going to get to race on Sunday. And Darrell, when you get a chance to practice for an hour and a half at this place, you get a chance to develop your rhythms, find your way around here, know what you want and what feel you want in a car. Now you got to go out there, and the second time by that flag stand, you got to be fast.
Yeah, you do. And these cars, for whatever reason, the COT has a tendency to be a little bit jukey loose up off the corner. I think you got a lot of wheel in it, and when it starts to exit the corner, the back end snaps around. And here you can't catch it. We saw that time and time again in practice. And it's really magnified when you go to qualify because you're pushing it as hard as you can go. So guys are going to have their hands full, and guys that have got it right, they're going to go fast. I think we're going to be in low 15s today, and that's pretty quick around here for the COT car.
Larry, we saw Michael Waltrip crash in Sprint Cup practice. We saw 3 drivers bite the wall at both ends of the car in the Nationwide Series practice. So when that driver says, free me up for qualifying, how far dare you go?
I'm probably going to go, nah. But Michael Waltrip, in his interview, he pretty much said it. He watched his 2 teammates, Marcos Ambrose and David Rudiman, set a pretty high speed. And he said, I was chasing that speed, and my car would not let me get there. Because it's, you've almost, like Darrell, you've got to manhandle that car around here. And the thing about it, when it's all said and done and all the smoke cleared, I think when you look at these 45 cars, we're going to be well within a half a second from the fastest to the slowest. In fact, in that practice session of the go homers, a guy that would have made it and went home, 1/1000th of a second difference.
Well, we're going to find out, and you know how long this practice or this qualifying session will last? About an hour.
That's it.
If that.
Here's our Subway $5 foot-long track description. Half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest half-mile. Variable banking up to 30 degrees in the corners. The straightaways are banked, and each of those straightaways is a scant 650 feet long, and whoosh, that's how fast they go here.
Can't get a whole lot of information in about a driver on his qualifying run because he's not going to be out there with 30 seconds.
You better talk fast. That's right. Kenseth 5th in points. 11 top 10 finishes in 14 races, in his last 14 races here.
Now that's a good bit slower than I expect the pole speed to be. That's speeds that we've seen around here like a year ago.
So probably a good bit slower than he expected because he lost over 0.2 of a second from what he practiced. He was actually 11th quickest earlier.
And we're talking concrete here, so it's not like the track temperature rises a whole lot as we go through the day as it would if this was an asphalt.
Yeah, it doesn't change as much, especially if the ambient temperature doesn't change like asphalt would.
Well, look, it's white. So obviously, if it's a black track, it's going to soak up more heat than a white track will, and then it's concrete on top of that. Whoa. You see what I'm talking about, that exit to the corners where you usually have trouble here, practicing and qualifying.
Jeff Burton, last year's winner. That was his 20th Sprint Cup victory.
He's got another lap to go, but a lot like Matt Kenseth, he has slowed down about 0.2. He was actually not that fast in practice earlier. He was 32nd quickest.
And this is what happens when you get ready to go qualify. You practice no tape on the grill, and you're out there kind of casually running laps. And you tell your crew, I'm just a little too tight. Free me up a little bit for qualifying, and here's what happens.
And they did.
And that just kills your whole lap. because even if you don't get out of the throttle, you have bogged the car down and lost speed.
Now, in each of the two drivers so far, Kenseth and Burton, the second lap was 1/100th quicker than the first lap.
Now here's Junior, and he was real quick in practice and real happy with his car. Let's see if he can back up his practice speed.
He ended up 15th quickest when it was all set up, but you're right. We heard him say he was pretty happy with that 88 car.
Way up the hill off of 2 there. Didn't get off of the bottom of turn 2 like I know he would like to. Let's see what he does here on his lap.
It's not going to be what he's looking for on lap 1. In fact, he's going to be 3rd quickest with the 3 cars, 15:77.
She's coming around this time. He got off. He was just high up in the middle of 1 and 2 that first time by. Let's see if he can pick it up a little bit. Should be able to. Looked a little better.
A lot better. More than a tenth better. 15:63. He's 1/100th behind Matt Kenseth, the driver who has the best record over the last 10 races of any Cup driver here.
When the work week ends,
Is made fresh, $5 footlong. Subway. Eat fresh. And brought to you by Super Clean. Cleaning products, not just clean, super clean. Paul Menard will be the 4th driver to take to the track. Started and finished here 16th last fall. That was his best effort in his 10 short track races in Sprint Cup.
This team needs a good run here at Bristol Motor Speedway. This is the 5th race of the 2009 season. When we leave here and head to Martinsville next week, we will go off the current 2009 owner points. Even though this car is locked into the show here, they are 38th in owner points right now. And he's all over the apron, and that just upsets the race car so much on the exit.
That actually started on the entrance of turn 3. Got it over on the nose, got loose getting into 3, and then he just fought it all the way through 3 and 4. Really hurt his lap.
All right, here's Chris Devoda.
Well, Elliott Sadler is a former winner at this track, and you were just telling me you love this time of year. Is it because March Madness, Bristol, or both?
It's probably both. I got to go see my beloved Tar Heels actually play yesterday in Greensboro before we came up here, but just love this racetrack. This is at a perfect time of the schedule for us. We had a weekend off last week to kind of regroup, get our footing, coming to 2 short tracks here in Martinsville, but the best by car, very fast in practice. Just want to go lay down that one good lap because qualifying good here can make the race very fun on Sunday. If you slip and have a bad day, can make it very long. So very happy with my guys. Go out there and make a good lap and see what happens.
All rest on those 15 seconds. Go get him, Elliott.
Kurt Busch on track, who got his first win behind the wheel of a Penske car right here in 2006.
Not too good in that first turn, though. He drove in a little too hard. Got up the track a little bit and then wiggled off turn 2 over there. Really had his hands full.
You know, Darrell, I'm sure as we interview some of these drivers that's qualified, they'll probably verify what we're about to talk about. And he's going to go to the top of charts here at a 15:59. But I just believe this track has lost some grip, it certainly looks
Well,
like.
I know it's concrete, and I know it doesn't change much, but these cars are so fickle, it doesn't take much.
Kind of like Hammond.
it's best for you. You don't have to accept going bald. Do something about it right now.
Call 1-800-975-8205 or visit Bosley.com today.
Driver on track today, Academy Sports, is the new sponsor on his number 96 for this weekend.
Bobby was 24th quickest in practice. His lap was a 15:47. Right now, Kurt Busch quickest at a 15:59.
Looks really good right now there. He's really smooth in 1 and 2. Best car I've seen around the track so far. Got off of there under power. Pretty good. A little loose, but not bad.
It's like he just didn't get into turn 3 well, and it carried all the way through the middle and the exit of the corner. Right now, he's 4th quickest.
Had 1 and 2 really good. Probably the best I've seen, but fighting it in 3 and 4.
Darrell, is one end of this racetrack really unlike the other?
They actually are. I mean, turn 1, it just seems sharper. You drive into turn 1, it seems like almost you just got to throw the car in there real hard to get it to stay on the bottom. Turn 3 is much more of a gradual entrance, a little less turn getting in. Seems like
all over that.
Yeah. Now this should be interesting because Juan Pablo Montoya runs a little different line here than many of the traditional oval track stock car drivers, but he was in the top 5 in practice for much of the session earlier.
Oh boy, he drove it in hard into 1. I can tell you that. Looks like it stuck pretty good and used a lot of brake.
On pole.
Use a lot of brake there. Let's see what he does here. 3 is a little bit edgy, but Man, you can hear him getting back to the gas.
It's going to be a great lap.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to beat by Kurt Busch by over a 10th. How about a 15:45?
How about that?
That was on lap 1.
He's really hustling that car, and it's sticking for him. That's what I like.
Quicker yet coming off turn 4.
I believe it's a little better.
Nope, he dropped off a bit, but 15:45 is now the time to beat, and Juan Pablo Montoya right now holds the top spot in the Target Chevy.
5-time Bristol winner, Kurt Busch. DW and Larry Mack were wondering, watching the first 8 or 7 cars, has the track lost a little bit of grip?
Yeah, it definitely has. You know, the nationwide practice was, I think, 2 hours long, and it rubbered in a bunch. And we were just making adjustments on our Miller Lite Dodge based on where we were from our practice, and just ended up too loose. But today I feel like I survived. Midnight to 9 a.m. this morning, I was in 4 different cities. When I woke up 4 different times, I had an appearance last night in Las Vegas for the National Convention for Miller Lite, and woke up the first time I'm in Bentonville. I woke up the next time, we couldn't land here, too much fog. Then I'm in Concord. I was everywhere. So, all right, thank you. All right, thanks.
Here comes Brian Vickers, the Red Bull Toyota, and he's on pace for the front row. Second with a 55.
And there's something to be said for, I don't know why, but a lot of times in the car, when the track lays, even though it's only for a little short period of time, if there's a lot of rubber on the track, the sun really kind of makes that rubber gooey and slick, and it takes a few cars to rub it back down in the track.
He had his hands full on lap 2, but
yeah.
right now he's second quickest.
Here's Matt.
And JPM currently the pole sitter. So how would you describe your line compared to what you see a lot of other guys drive here?
I don't know. I do what I think is best. You know, this Target Chevy, last few weeks has been getting better, and it's kind of frustrating that, you know, a couple of times we put it on the green, caution comes out, so we've been pretty screwed, but I think the performance of the whole team has really gone up a long way, so I don't know. I don't think it's that different than anybody else. I just drive as hard as I can. All right, next one.
That did, and to good effect.
I think Juan's opinion is maybe those other guys are doing it wrong.
Clint Boyer, 3 straight top 10 finishes here, including 2 thirds. Now he's third quickest on his first lap.
Yeah, he really got loose getting down into turn 1. Actually, it was well before he turned off into turn 1 on this lap, so it's going to be quite a bit slower.
That's okay, though. He is third behind Montoya and Vickers for now. Krista?
And let's get a word from Kevin Harvick. Kevin, this is one of your favorite tracks. You just came off a nationwide practice. What'd you learn about the track? We're getting a little more slick right now?
My car drove really good. Our Armors Meet Chevrolet drove good in the Nationwide Series. I haven't made a competitive lap yet. We had some steering problems with the steering locking up. So we have no idea what we've got in our Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet. So this is a total guess, and we'll see what happens.
2 mystery laps coming up for Kevin Harvick.
And I've seen that happen here. Steering boxes will lock up here. We used to have to run what we called a big bore steering box with a different pump, because the low air pressure left side tires sometimes would lock the box up.
Yeah, we even would change the size of the pulley on the power steering pump. Yeah.
Martin Truex, 15:52, second fastest, knocks Brian Vickers off the front row.
Of course, you could go back to the way back in the day, and we never had that problem.
With no power steering.
We didn't have power steering.
That's way back. Second lap a little slower, but Truex trying to put the Bass Pro Shops number 1 on the front row.
Teammates.
Yeah, he and Montoya.
Yeah, his best start here ever has been 11th, so he's working to try to improve that. Still a lot of good cars to go, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that time go down some. I was thinking we're going to be in the low 15s the way practice went, but it was much cooler when we were practicing this morning.
Scott Speed is our next qualifier. He's had some success time trialing here. He's got a pole here.
Got a pole in the Truck Series here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go pretty quick. His teammates up there in third, Vickers, and he will gas it up. We do know that.
Looking pretty good halfway down the back straightaway. He drove it down into 3 and 4, and it stuck. It looks like this might be a pole run for Scott Speed.
What about that?
45 with a 4 for Montoya. And for Speed, 45 with an O. How about that?
You love it.
I do. We've got a great car in our U.S. Army Chevrolet. We're second in practice, so we feel like we got a decent shot at the pole and just see what we can do.
Right, big weekend for Ryan Newman.
You know, the harder you can throw the car into the corner at a given racetrack, the more Ryan Newman likes it.
Yep.
Here's Jamie Mack, qualified third here for the fall race a year and a half ago.
Kind of slid up the hill a little bit, but didn't hurt him too bad.
A pretty good lap for this 26 car.
Back in the gas hard, I mean, off turn 4.
He was 18th quickest in practice. He goes to second quickest to a 15:41.
Good lap.
Really making good time in turns 3 and 4. He's got the car coming out of 4 hard. I mean,
be a little bit slower on this lap, but pretty solid on lap 1.
Well, and there's a case where they worked on the car and they optimized it for him. That was well done. Coming up, Eric Almirola, Robbie Gordon, and David Rudiman. Is on his Chevrolet this week. Got his first and so far only top 10 finish here. Came in this race 1 year ago.
He's getting off the corner pretty good. It's like he kind of eased it in, and he reaped the reward for doing that. Is on his first lap. He's 6th quickest.
What's funny about that is he split his teammates Montoya and Truex. He's right in the middle of them.
and you know, he said, we did an interview with him in practice. He said they had a good race set up. He wasn't sure what they had for qualifying. Looks like they've got both.
Pretty solid, like you say. The Earnhardt Ganassi contingent, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Krista?
Down here with Denny Hamlin. Denny, let's get a prediction. What kind of run are you guys going to have out there today?
It's a crapshoot with us when it comes to qualifying. A lot of times when we practice good, we don't back it up. But we'll see. This FedEx Express Toyota was pretty good today during practice. We worked our way up towards the top of the charts, but Bristol is a very finicky racetrack. You can miss it by a little bit, end up losing about 20 spots. So you got to make sure you put in a good solid lap.
His best start here, 6th.
Thanks, Krista. Robbie Gordon with the FindMeSpot.com. Toyota, new sponsor for Robbie. He has one top 10 start here outside pole in 2002.
Not a great first lap for Robbie. 17th quickest in this 7 car. He was 31st quickest in the practice earlier.
I think he's just struggling with getting it off the corner. Looks like it's coming off almost in a slide.
Picked up a little bit to 16th quickest. Picked up 1/100th. Picked up 1 spot.
All right, this next car is the driver who won practice, David Rudiman. Remember, he started outside pole here for the night race last summer.
Just everything about this race team is coming to life. Their qualifying's been coming to life. Their racing's been coming to life. I mean, he's sitting 12th in the points, and that's still with the engine failure that they had at Atlanta a couple of weeks ago.
Look at this run.
Had a little trouble off of 2 right there. Couldn't get back to the gas like he wanted to. I don't know if it hurt him or not.
Now, his time he ran in practice was exactly what Mark Martin ran a while ago. Will it do it? 2nd quickest on lap 1.
He just
pick up
had
a 10th.
Yeah, he just was a little soft off of turn 2. Good everywhere else. He wobbled into 3 that time, so I think that first lap's going to be it.
15:37 for Rudiman on the first lap. 2nd fastest.
Yeah, when he got back in the gas real early in 1 and 2 down there in the middle of 1 and 2, car took off just a little bit and he had to kind of pedal it a little. I think that cost him a pole. Still not a bad run for old Lucky Dog.
I mean, I know a 1/10 of a second doesn't sound like a lot, but that's how fast Mark Martin is over the rest of the field, and that is a lot at Bristol.
Yes, it is. See what Greg Biffle can do about that. Biffle rang up 5 straight top 10 starts here, but it's been a while since he had a top 10. 2006 top 10 start, that is. And Biffle nursing sore ribs after a fall at his dock during the 2 weeks we had off. That's why he's not going to run the nationwide race tomorrow.
I think he'll like this qualifying run.
He's been averaging about a 6th place finish here in the spring races, last 4.
Second quickest, 15:31. He was 10th quickest in the practice. Greg Irwin, his crew chief, letting him know, you know, didn't bother giving him a time. That doesn't mean anything.
But did you hear if I heard his voice, I'd have stopped.
Yeah,
P2,
right.
P2. You know, like, okay, you can stop now. You can stop now.
I think that's what he was trying to tell
No,
him.
he was, but he didn't want to say it.
Krista.
Well, starting up front definitely helps you win here, and I know this is one place that you have circled on your calendar, a place you want to win. How good are you going to be qualifying today, Jimmy?
It's been a tough track for me over the years. I hope that we qualify solidly and then just have a solid race. I do want to win here, but first things first, we need to get a good starting spot and go from there. We had a great practice session. Now it's time to just go out and back it up. Very proud of these guys on those slow Go-Ball Tools Impala. It's been fast and fairly easy for me to drive, so I just keep telling myself that I love this place. I love this place. I love this place.
Positive thinking.
We're going to do it.
All right, here's the Rocket, 2-time pole winner and track record holder Ryan Newman.
Just quickly on Jimmy Johnson, they just need to quit worrying about how fast they are and get something good to race with.
Second for Newman by 1/100th of a second. Actually, less than that. 4 1,000ths.
Whoa now. Whoa now.
And that won't do it.
He tried to pick up that 4 1,000.
Yeah, didn't work. He was looking for it.
He needed Greg Irwin. P2, P2.
Good job, old man.
That's a great run.
They keep taking a shot at Mark, but to no avail. They keep getting closer as they keep taking shots at him.
Now, the crew chief on the 39 was Mark's crew chief last year,
Tony
right?
Gibson.
And he needs to realize that's not the old man in the car anymore.
No, that's the old man.
There's
right
the old
there.
man.
50-year-old
That's what they
Mark,
used to call Mark all last year.
Well, let's see what Carl Edwards can do here. The time to beat, 15:256 of Mark Martin. Carl, the pole winner here last fall. It was his only pole in 2008 to go with 9 wins.
He was 28th quickest in practice, and not going to be a great run. Looks like it's going to be back about 20th or 21st on his first lap. 22nd, actually. He's won the last 2 August races here. I believe he's going to be possibly, it was looking like it. I don't know if it's going to be any better or not.
I think that's
a little bit slower, so he stays 22nd.
Well, he's going to be in good company back there with, Bobby Labonte and Jeff Burton and the like.
Dale Jr.
Sounds like a good sales pitch for him. A lot on that tracker.
Well, from Amarillo there, it's 9th, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 58, down to 14.
Is that like in Texas?
Yeah, Amarillo.
Yeah, it's from Amarillo to Dallas.
That's where we stop and get fuel, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Here's Krista.
Mike, one of our feel-good stories so far early this season has been David Gilliland. You guys have had some great runs, but I just asked how you're doing, and you said anxious. Can you explain to people why the anxiety of this place?
Just, man, this race is so important to everybody that's, trying to race their way in the top 35. And, we had a great car. TRG Motorsports put together a great car. Slugger and all the guys worked really hard. This is a new car to us, so we're building to our stable of cars, so which is exciting. And, we got Capital Window on board again, so I'm really proud of all those guys. Car had good speed in practice, but you just got to go out there and not make a mistake and then put it in the race. So I'm getting a little more used to it after the first 4 times of trying. So I'm excited. The car had good speed in practice. We just got to do what we did in practice, and we'll be okay.
Hopefully this is the last time you have to worry about it, David.
Now here's Reed Sorensen, and he's had one top 10 start here. Came in 2006.
Might be right there for another one.
Yep, 5th. 15:40.
40, buddy. That's a good lap. It's 5th right now.
In other words, stop.
Yeah, that's another crew chief. A little urgency in his voice.
Another one of the few cars that actually picked up about a 10th from what he practiced. That's a good lap for Reed. By far the fastest Dodge.
Matt?
After a couple hiccups to start the year, 4 1,000ths of a second off the pole. Great run, Ryan.
It was a good run, U.S. Army Chevrolet. The guys did a great job. I thought I could have ran quicker than that 31 I ran in practice, and I did. I just didn't expect Mark to run that 25. So good effort, everybody at Stewart Haas Racing, and hopefully a good top 5 starting spot for us.
What do you say to him when he peeked his head in the window?
He said his first lap was so fast that he was going to come in the mid, but then he couldn't make it. so he ran a second lap. He said he almost scared himself trying to pit after the first lap.
All right, thanks, buddy.
So here's Denny Hamlin, who
not good.
Yeah, down in the teens.
Yeah, he was bad off of 2 that time. Can't get off the corner.
Has 2 top 10 starts here, but will not add a third this Sunday. 20th on his first lap.
Yeah,
15:62.
I believe he may just be a little too tight. The car didn't look like it wanted to turn up off a corner at all.
This will be better. Not a top 10. Looks like 13th on the second lap for Denny Hamlin.
You know, a couple of things I think, Darrell, can happen on that second lap. One, obviously the driver can adjust how he drives the car. And sometimes I think the car can handle a little different on lap 2 based on air pressure buildup and things of that nature.
Yeah, one thing about Bristol that's kind of unique is we run interliners in the right side tires. Don't run any in the left side tires. And that kind of gives the left sides and the right sides a little different buildup characteristic.
Yeah, everywhere else we either run them all 4 tires or like Martinsville next week, none at all.
None at all.
Joey Logano has the number 20, position 33rd in owner points. Top 35 is the break point.
This car looks pretty good, I tell you.
It's going to be his first Cup start at Bristol.
It's going to be a pretty good lap, too. Looks like he's going to be 13th quickest on lap 1.
Right next to his teammate Hamlin.
He raced in the Nationwide Series race here back last fall. Finished 16th.
I think it's better,
too.
I think it's going to be better.
Actually, almost identical laps, lap 1 and lap 2. So he'll stay 13th.
4 1,000ths faster than his teammate Denny Hamlin. Krista?
All right, we saw Ryan Newman was very good. Let's get a prediction from his teammate. Tony, how are you going to be out there today?
I don't know. Ryan was, I think, 1100ths faster than us in practice, but I was really happy to see all his guys in the U.S. Army team get a good run in. They needed some good luck here, so this is more what I expect to see out of them every week. We know they can do it. They just got to get the bad luck off their back. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. I think we were 17th in practice, and I think we can pick up a little bit here, so we'll see.
Casey Kane was the pole winner for the night race here in 2007. He finished second after leading 305 laps.
Always qualifies good here. He's raced here 10 times. He's qualified in the top 10 6 times. He's working on that again.
Yep.
4th quickest for the 9 car.
Very good run.
15:35. Just in front of his teammate Reed Sorensen. It's actually 6th quickest right now.
Real
Slows
good
down
job,
a
man.
little
Real
bit.
good job. Right.
I just pleased some of those guys that went out early. They just suffered from track conditions because the track has definitely gotten better.
Mark Martin's going for 2 poles in a row. He did that once before in his career. 20 years ago.
Yeah.
634 races ago, he won the pole at Darlington, and then he won the pole here at Bristol.
Yeah, back in the day when he first showed up, he could qualify now. But we always thought it was because he was so light. You know, he didn't weigh but 120 pounds.
Kyle Busch has only 1 top 10 start here. It came last fall. He does have a win and a 2nd place finish, though.
Yeah, he has a win in all 3 series here, the Sprint Cup Nationwide and NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
In this race last year, he was leading and hit the wall due to a blown seal in the power steering pump.
Definitely looking better on this 2nd lap. He's flirting with a top 10 run. Where's he going to end up? 12th, but he definitely picks up on lap 2.
And he's just 1/100th quicker than his 2 teammates, so the Gibbs cars are all pretty much right together.
Sunday.
Making his first Bristol Cup start. Got a career best of 5th at Las Vegas 2 races ago.
I think he'll have a pretty good little lap here. He's a good qualifier.
He has 2 Nationwide and 4 Truck Series races here under his belt.
He is looking pretty solid considering he was 30th quickest in practice. First lap will be 11th quickest for Marcos, 15:47.
Car's been pretty solid. He got a little bit loose on him. He drove in real hard. Turn 3 there and got a little loose on him. That's going to hurt that lap.
Runs a little bit quicker, but he'll stay 11th quickest from a 4.7 to a 15.45.
2 drivers to go that are locked into the field, Jimmy Johnson and then Michael Waltrip, who's in a backup car and will qualify at the end of the session.
Yeah, he's rolling out to the tech line now, so he's a little bit behind.
So here is Johnson, who started on pole here last year when the field was set by points, and has a 3rd place finish here. He's got 8 short track wins, none yet at Bristol.
So that means they're all at either Martinsville or Richmond, because we only have 3 short tracks left on our schedule.
Well, he looked really good going into 1, but
so far so
and
good.
into 3.
So far so good.
Car up there in the middle of 3 and 4, great. Right now he's going to be 3rd quickest at a 15.29.
Gives Chevrolet 3 of the first 4 spots right now.
3 Hendrick cars in the top 9. It'll be a little bit slower. That's still a good qualifying run. One of only 6 tracks that he does not have a win at.
So Jimmy Johnson 3rd as we move into knockout qualifying.
Well, this ought to be interesting.
10 cars, 8 positions available. And here's how they practiced. With Blaney fastest, Stewart, who has the champion's provisional if needed, Allmendinger. And the drivers most at risk, Todd Bodine, Joe Nemechek, Sterling Marlin, Jeremy Mayfield.
I'm just trying to look there. Not a lot of those those guys right there, other than maybe Stewart and Allmendinger, Travis Quapple, don't have teammates that they can go really talk to, or crew chiefs can compare notes as far as things like air pressure and all. Stewart and Allmendinger and Quaffle would be about the only 3 of those guys.
So the 66 car was pretty good in practice. Yes. He was at the top of the board there for a long time.
And Blaney has an outside pole here and a 3rd place start when he drove for Richard Childress.
That's a good lap for him. Of course, he's not locked in by no means, but I think he'll race with that lap there, 13th quickest.
I think he ran like a 40. I think he ran like a 45 in practice, so that's right there what he practiced.
This will be quicker. Wow.
Wow, I'll say.
8th quickest.
He jumped it way up there.
Now, admittedly, all of these drivers are on a full qualifying setup because, you know, their race is to make the race, but so is everybody else.
Yeah, because it's not an impound race.
Yeah, right.
So
they came that way though. They didn't practice race setups at all.
Exactly.
they practiced qualifying.
An hour and a half practicing qualifying
laps, 2 at a time.
That's more to the point. Thank you. Next to be A.J. Allmendinger, and what a job he's done qualifying for races this season. He's 20th in the standings.
And he was 20th in that practice session a while ago. He normally gives us something pretty exciting come qualifying.
No, he's pushed up on him off too. Ease out of it a little bit.
Ooh, caught a little of the apron there.
Got a little apron, yeah. He's just trying real hard, giving it all he's got.
He'll be 22nd quickest at a 15.56. See if he can make an adjustment here. Looking a little bit better here on lap 2.
Yeah, much better.
I think it's a better lap. He got off 2 without having to let out of it that time.
He's going to pop up 1 spot, 21st. 15.54. That ought to be. You think that's safe?
I wouldn't be feel real good about it just yet. Not till we see a few more of these cars run.
I think it's safe.
It'll be okay.
I think it'll be okay.
Thursday on Bull Run, dirty tricks. The pressure cooker boils over. Somebody gets burned. It's an all-new Bull Run with Bill Goldberg, and it's Thursday night at 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Travis Quaffle, 39th in owner points. Got his first top 10 finish right here at Bristol in this race 4 years ago.
I just wouldn't have thought when the season started that this car would find itself in this position.
Well, they missed the race at Las Vegas and then had engine failure, finished 42nd in Atlanta, and that's definitely got him in a hole.
Yep. Wow, he's going to race 14th, 15.51.
It's going to be good news for Dave Blaney in that 66 car. I know he'll be hanging around till Sunday.
Nice job, buddy.
But you know what's amazing? He just ran a 15.51. He's 14th. A.J. Allmendinger is 22nd at a 15.54. 3/100ths of a second. Basically, what is that, 8 positions?
You know, they pack them in here. They pack in 165,000 people, and they pack that grid as tight as together as you can. There you are. David David Gilliland. What a great story here. Kevin Buckler's team, the Racers Group, in January decided they were going cup races, bought some cars and engines, and Gilliland has responded. He is 34th in owner points, needs to make the show to be exempted from qualifying to get into the show come Martinsville next week.
I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, he's just in front of Travis Quapple, so that lap right there actually locks him in.
48.
He's in.
48. I love it. Crew chiefs don't tell you to quit because they're afraid you might mess you up, but
You're fine right there, bud. You're fine.
that's what he really wanted to tell him, just quit.
In fact, he ran a 15:48 on, 48 on both laps.
Yeah, 481 and a 488. So David Gilliland from Riverside, California will race here on Sunday. It's always made fresh $5 footlong. Subway, eat fresh.
There, you know why the crew chief never tells you to quit here? Because, I mean, you just talk about hundreds. And the driver will always say, man, I think that second lap would have been better.
And by the time I looked at the scoring monitor and keyed my button, you've already made the second lap.
Most of the time, that's right.
Jeremy Mayfield in the all-sport Toyota. He's got to go. He was not fast in practice. Needs to find some speed here, and 1571 may not be good enough.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be good enough. That'll be good news for Travis Quapple, that 28 car, though.
The second lap is quicker, a 1570, but Mayfield, who has started on the second row here in the past, is in jeopardy as Quapple is locked in along with Blaney and Gilliland.
Yeah, you know, this team qualified for the Daytona 500. They qualified on time at Auto Club Speedway, and they've lost it since then. They've missed the last two races, and they're in jeopardy of missing this race here at Bristol.
In Vegas and in Atlanta and then here, I mean, you have got to be spot on. Your handling package has got to be good, and you got to have some horsepower on the hood.
Tony Stewart's a past winner here. He's a two-time pole sitter at Bristol, and 3 times in his last 3 spring races he's led the most laps. We know he's going to race on Sunday, but will it be time or Champions Provisional?
It'll be time.
You bet.
You know where Tony was hanging out yesterday? He was up at Fort Knox with the Army NHRA team and Tony Schumacher in that group.
Oh, I didn't know if he went to make a withdrawal or, you know.
He is a car owner nowadays.
Oh, that's true.
That's how you make a small fortune.
Start with a big one.
That's right.
15th for Tony Stewart. Good lap. So Blaney's in, Gilliland, Stewart, and Quapple. Now, Tony's lap is good news for the drivers who have yet to go, because he won't need the Champions Provisional, and that means an extra spot available at the back end of this field.
We have 4 Go-Girl homers left to qualify, including Scott Riggs in his 36 car. He's missed the last 2 races. At Atlanta, they missed the race because the engine went sour during his qualifying run.
Riggs has one top 10 start here. Ooh, got into turn 1 good and did not get off turn 2.
He just needs to drive a good solid lap here and not mess up. But he has got his hands full, it appears, wobbling through 3 and 4.
He just barely beats.
Yeah, and this
Jeremy Mayfield.
This is no better. I mean, that car is just not handling well.
What the tracker showed us is he's throwing it hard into the corner and can't get it out the other side.
Yeah, no, it's just not there. No grip, looks like.
A 70 and a 78, and so Riggs is in jeopardy along with Mayfield. That will lock A.J. Allmendinger into the field, though.
So A.J. Allmendinger and Tony Stewart become the only 2 drivers that's qualified for the first 5 races of the Go Homers on time, every one of them.
And they'll both be in the top 35 when it counts next week. So here is Joe Nemechek in his unsponsored Toyota. He has to beat Scott Riggs 15.703. Joe has 2 top 10 starts here. They all came very early in his career when he was driving for Larry Hedrick.
He really struggled in practice. He was 39th quickest.
I think it's going to be okay, though, Larry. The car looks decent.
Yeah, he's going to be in great shape. He just needs to beat that 1570.
He's in 26th for Nemechek.
1555.
Good lap.
Yeah, the car looked real good. Better than it did in practice.
3 cars to go. As Nemechek's second lap is a little slower.
Joe kind of did the same thing. I think it was at Vegas where he wasn't very good in practice, but he got up on the wheel and qualified.
He does step it up, doesn't he?
He does.
Now, he's made every race with the exception of the Daytona 500. Qualified 19th there on time trials, but did not race his way in.
And he missed pit in, so he'll back up. And
is that Kurt Busch going there?
What?
Oh no, it's Joe Nemechek.
That was good, Daryl. It's not a
maybe he's practicing.
It's not a victory lap.
No,
but,
I don't know if he's practicing or what.
For unsponsored teams, getting in the show is a victory. Yes.
You know, speaking of Kurt Busch's victory lap, I guess they put a contest out for the fans to name that lap. They're supposed to announce it here this weekend. I think they had over 10,000 entries of people naming that backwards victory lap.
Well, here's Sterling Marlin. Again, the time to beat if you want to race Sunday, 15:7:03, Scott Riggs.
Now, this team qualified for their very first race of 2009 in Atlanta 2 weeks ago with Mike Bliss. We'll have to get off this corner.
I don't know.
I believe he's going to be okay, Darryl. It's going to be okay.
Oh, so 29th for Marlin with a 15:59.
Yep.
So he is in.
It says Mayfield home.
Correct. Jeremy Mayfield will go to the house.
Good job for the homeboy.
And Sterling picks up to 15:57.
Mule Day is coming. He probably needs a little paycheck. Pick up something down there.
Is he in the Legends race here tomorrow night?
Yes, he is.
How can that be?
He and Andy
he's in the
Petrie.
race Sunday.
I know. Well, don't ask me all those questions.
I'd read the rule book, and as soon as they print it, I want a copy.
We're still waiting on that.
It's in pencil, I can tell you that.
All right, here is Todd Bodine. Fred's Hometown Discount Store is on this car. They're based out of Memphis, Tennessee. It's a chain of low-price stores. And boy, look, Todd really threw it in there.
He did, but
that was a pole run into turn one. But
took a little while for him to catch it, too.
Tell you what, this is actually not only going to get him in the field, it's going to be a pretty solid qualifying lap. 16th quickest. That will send Scott Riggs home.
15:51, he's in.
Todd got this car in a show at Las Vegas 3 weeks ago.
Well, he has 3 top 10 starts here and 2 nationwide.
Nice job, buddy. I didn't want to talk to you right there, but you needed to know that.
That's Doug Richard.
Doug
Yeah.
Richard, you bet.
Doug's been around this sport, I think, as long as I have been. And I don't know how he can only be 50 years old.
Well, it's because he was 18 when he was Earnhardt's crew chief in '79. That's how.
Been there a long time.
So Michael Waltrip, who is in a backup car, will be the last car to qualify.
Mikey just gets you a nice solid run in here in the old backup car.
That's the 2 cars that will not make the show because Michael Waltrip is a car that's in the top 35. So Jeremy Mayfield, Scott Riggs will not race for the 3rd consecutive week.
Because this is a backup car, not just an engine change, Michael will start where he qualifies, which is 21st.
Pretty good lap for a backup car.
Well, he's got pressure on him, man. I mean, look where Rudiman is and Marcos.
That's a good job, Michael. That's a 50.
But yeah, Mike, because it happened prior to qualifying, then he can start where he's actually qualified this car, which, trust me, at Bristol, 43rd from 21st is big, halfway up through the field.
Well, you know what that does? It puts him on the front straightaway for a pit selection, too.
That's
and
right.
even though they're supposed to be equal, there's something mentally about being on the front straightaway.
Mark Martin wins his 43rd career pole. It's his 8th pole at Bristol Motor Speedway, and the 2nd time in his career that he has won the pole in consecutive races. Krista, 20 years since he last did it.
Amazing. Back-to-back poles. And last race when we talked to you in Atlanta, you said you felt like a rookie. How does this one feel, back-to-back?
It feels really, really good. I just want to thank everybody at Hendrick Motorsports for letting me drive this Kellogg's CarQuest Chevrolet. That was a great day. The car was really fast. It was really comfortable. And, you know, with the things that have happened to us in the races, it feels really good to show everybody that we've still got speed. And we're going to keep digging.
Thanks, Mark. Congratulations.
And Mike, that's amazing. When he sat on the pole last week at Atlanta, it had been 257 races since he sat on the pole. And now he's got back-to-back poles at Atlanta and Bristol.
First three guys sound like a law firm: Martin, Newman, and Johnson.
No Bipple, huh? No Bipple.
Sometimes the best way to get closer is to get as far away from it all as possible. Don't let erectile dysfunction get in the way. Viagra, America's most prescribed ED treatment, can help you enjoy a more satisfying sexual experience. Ready to talk to your doctor? Find out how at Viagra.com. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Don't take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease in vision or hearing. 20 million men have had the Viagra conversation.
Martin is the second oldest pole winner in the history of Bristol Motor Speedway. Here's a look at the starting lineup. He will share the front row with the Rocket, Ryan Newman.
How about old Dave Blaney, a go-or-go homer sitting there on the outside of the row 4.
And we thought Jeff Gordon had a real bona fide shot at the pole, and he ends up 10th.
And David Rudiman also is up there in the top 10.
Fast guys in practice didn't prevail all that well.
Scott Speed up there in row 6, David Gilliland in row 7.
And Todd Bodine, look at Todd Bodine slipping up there. Good run.
Kevin Harvick there, that's the fastest of the Richard Childress cars. And remember, 1 year ago, finished 1, 2, 3. They've got their work cut out for them on Sunday.
Logano not in too bad a shape this weekend either. He was up there pretty good.
And a look back through the rest of the field with Sterling Marlin winning the final qualified spots. Scott Riggs, Jeremy Mayfield go home. The NASCAR Nationwide final practice comes up next, then Unique Whips and Trackside. The oldest pole sitter at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Got to be Harry Gant.
Well, it's got to be at age 54. Congratulations to Mark Martin, the pole winner for the Food City 500.